Hey guys, Prowl 1701 here, and today we're going to talk about the second Doctor. So recently I did a video where I asked if you could recover 10 missing episodes from the 60s, which ones would you recover and why? You know, say you just found a magic lamp and there was a genie, and the genie was a Doctor Who fan, and let you pick which 10 episodes, not stories, you could bring back. And I enjoyed that one. Mine was very Troughton heavy. And to kind of make up for that, I did a second video where I talked about, you know, what if you could only find 5 Hartnell stories? Had to be Hartnell, but you could only get 5. Which 5 would you pick and why? So I could kind of talk about missing Hartnell stories I'd want more. And I was going to kind of stop there because I figured a lot of people in the first video would go Troughton because the Troughton era suffers a lot more due to missing episodes than Hartnell's does, because Hartnell has 29 stories, 17 of those are complete. Whereas Troughton has 21 stories and only 7 are complete. So I figured a lot of people would gravitate more toward Troughton, but there were some people in the comments who actually went like all Hartnell or mostly Hartnell. So I said, I'm going to have to do a Troughton video to get their thoughts on what they could do if they could only pick Troughton episodes. So today I'm going to talk about the 5 Troughton episodes I would recover if just magically I could pick 5 episodes that are missing to bring back from the Troughton era. And the first one is Power of the Daleks. You got to have Power of the Daleks, the first post-regeneration episode. It would be really nice just to see what Troughton was doing with his performance in that first episode. Plus it's Power of the Daleks. I'd love just to have an existing episode of Power of the Daleks. So that would be serving multiple functions for me. So that's kind of like the main one there. I'd love to get episode 1 of Power of the Daleks. Next on the list for me is episode 3 of Web of Fear. This, of course, would complete Web of Fear and would give us one more complete pre-season 6 Troughton story, since we only have 2 complete Troughton stories from seasons 4 and 5, both of which being, of course, from season 5. So that would give us one more complete story from him. Web of Fear is also held in very high regard as a classic, and while I personally think it's a bit overrated, like I do most of season 5, it's still a good story. And having it complete would make it a lot easier to recommend to people maybe going back to Classic Who for the first time, or a good second Doctor story for them to watch first, because they could watch the whole thing uninterrupted, and that would really work well for that. The next 2 I would pick are the 2 missing episodes of The Invasion, episode 1 and episode 4. I love The Invasion. I think it's the best Cybermen story we've probably ever gotten. It is so phenomenal. It never really feels padded out at 8 parts, and it feels like it develops organically, in my opinion. And I would absolutely love to have the 1st and 4th episode, and just to have another complete Troughton story. The last episode's a little harder. Part of me wants to pick an episode from the Moon Base, because I love the Moon Base. I would love to recover more of the Moon Base. It's another one of my favorite Cybermen stories, and plus I just love season 4. And the Moon Base is my favorite performance I think Troughton gives as the second Doctor in the 2 surviving episodes we have. I absolutely love him in it, so part of me feels the Moon Base. Sometimes I want to say an episode of Fury from the Deep, just so we can have a complete episode of Fury from the Deep. I love the story for Fury from the Deep. It's an S-tier story. It's just the animation doesn't work for me. I've talked about that in many videos before. I don't really click with the animation. It very obviously was rushed, as the people who made it went on to do better stuff with Galaxy 4 and Abominable Snowmen. But I think overall I would pick episode 7 of Evil of the Daleks. Possibly episode 6. Probably episode 7 of Evil of the Daleks. I always get the impression Evil of the Daleks being the season finale and possibly the last time we would see the Daleks probably went heavy with the budget toward the end. The behind-the-scenes footage we see of it, what little bit it remains, it looks really good. Plus, it would just be nice to have another Dalek episode from the Troughton era, because I just loved how David Whittaker writes the Daleks. So I would go either episode 6 or 7 of the Evil of the Daleks, probably episode 7, because I would absolutely love to have that. So that is the 5 episodes I would pick if I could recover 5 missing episodes of the Troughton era. I want to know which 5 you would pick and why you would pick those particular 5. So comment down below and let's talk about it. Other things to do, don't forget to click the like button and the subscribe button and the bell for notifications as well. I also have a Patreon if you would like to support me on that. There is a link to that down in the description below. I want to give a shout out to some of my top tier patrons, Stephen Crane, Colin Coney, and Finn Perkins. I do appreciate their support, as I do the support of all of my patrons. It is appreciated. I also want to give a shout out to Shuckle King, who has returned as a patron recently. It's really good to see you, Zach. I certainly appreciate you coming back. He was a patron a little while before, and it's really nice to have him back on the Patreon. It really means a lot. And I also have a link to my Amazon wish list down there and a link to my Amazon UK wish list down there as well, which I've added some stuff to recently, like some more of these classic, standard edition Classic Who sets I would like to get if you're interested in that. And I also have my P.O. box down there. YouTube memberships are also available. Most importantly, thank you for watching.